All right, will you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out on this wet and cold evening. Antoinette, can we get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. First on tonight's agenda is a public hearing on local law I-2 regarding a change to the zoning code to allow self-storage facilities in the C1 zoning district. Counselor, can you read the public hearing notice?
Yes. Public notice is hereby given that there has been introduced before the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, on September 11, 2019, an amendment to Patterson Town Code, Chapter 154, entitled Zoning, which amendment will revise Chapter 154-4 to add a definition for self-storage facilities and will amend Section 154-34, permitted principal uses, to allow self-storage facilities as a permitted principal use in the C1 zoning district. Now therefore, pursuant to Section 20 of the Municipal Home Rule Law, the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, will hold a public hearing on the aforesaid amendments at the Town Offices, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on October 9, 2019, at 7:00 p.m. in the evening of that day, or as soon thereafter as may be held, at which time all persons interested therein shall be heard. The Town Board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodation should contact the Town Clerk.
Thank you. I would ask that anybody who has any comments on this local law or any questions, if you could go to the mic and give your name for the record and ask your question or make your comment. Don't all rush up at once. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So,
Can I get a second?
second.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion on the reports?
I'll make a motion to accept the code compliance report for September, the code enforcement report for September, and the dog control officer report for September. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the minutes?
I'll make a motion, we approve the town board meeting minutes of September 11th and September 25th, 2019, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would someone like to audit the bills?
I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 18 dated September 27, 2019, in the amount of $361,918.87. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a couple of, we have one budget transfer and one budget adjustment. Would somebody like to talk about and make a motion on the budget transfer?
I will make a motion with regard to budget transfer request 23.
Okay, go ahead, do 23 first.
Yeah. Following budget transfers requested to reallocate funds to the Superintendent of Highways training for the approved Regional Salt Summit Conference for request of the Highway Superintendent. Excuse me. So it's moving $329 from the Superintendent Highway Admin Contractual Expense Account to the Superintendent Highway Admin Training Account in the amount of $329. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, we have the budget adjustment request, which is number 24, and that comes with its own little resolution, which I will read, because it refers to the stormwater retrofit project at Veterans Park. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Patterson has received a request from the Office of the Comptroller of the Town of Patterson requesting an interfund transfer from the general fund to the capital fund in connection with the stormwater retrofit project at Veterans Park in the amount of $330,000. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Patterson desires to make the interfund transfer in the amount of $330,000 from the general fund to the capital fund for the stormwater retrofit project at Veterans Park. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Patterson hereby authorizes the supervisor to transfer the sum of $330,000 from the general fund to the capital fund for the stormwater retrofit project at Veterans Park. Further be it resolved that the town board of the town of Patterson hereby authorizes the supervisor and/or the town comptroller to take any and all action required to effectuate the fund transfer authorized hereby. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think that added up to about $990,000. All right, moving right along with the budget adjustment transfer.
Before you move along. Now you need to approve the actual budget transfer.
I think that's what I was gonna do.
Okay. Good deal. Sorry.
That's okay. The help nowadays is tough. Following budget adjustment is necessary to establish the initial budget and allocate funds for the Veterans Park Stormwater Retrofit Project. We're increasing the capital projects of the government, EOH, East of Hudson, in the amount of $183,750. Likewise, state aid capital projects, DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation, revenue account of $146,250, and increasing the special services stormwater retrofit project expense accounts for the $330,000. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just for a point of clarification, what we've just done, we were successful in receiving a grant from the DEC to install a stormwater retrofit project to treat stormwater coming in off of North Street and also replace the drainage going through Veterans Memorial Park. The amount of the project exceeded the amount of the DEC grant, so we negotiated an agreement with the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation to pay for the balance, but we need to do the project and then we will be reimbursed for the cost of the project. And so we had to create a budget, we had to move money in to pay the contractor. Work has already started and should be wrapping up very quickly. And then we will seek reimbursement for those agencies. So at the end of the day, it should be fully paid for by other people's money, which is what we love best.
Yep.
All right, first on my agenda is a local law for storage facilities. I have here a resolution of adoption for local law number 2 of 2019, which I'd like to ask be entered into the minutes as though read. The resolution will propose the adoption of local law number 2 for the amendment that we just had a public hearing on, which would allow certain types of self-storage units, not all self-storage units, but certain types of self-storage units to be constructed in the C1 zoning district. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next on my agenda is the preliminary budget. I am very pleased to say that the town board has had several meetings with department heads and amongst ourselves to work out the details of the preliminary budget. We've made a number of different modifications. At the end of the day, they really haven't changed the bottom line. The current rate of increase is 1.78%, which is still well below the 2% tax cap. We have still 2 salaries that I would like to talk to the town board about in executive session before we adopt this. But the total impact, if any, on those salaries would be about $3,000 to the budget. I intend to make to move this preliminary budget when we come out of executive session so that we can take it to public hearing at the next meeting. And that's all I have on that. We did put out the generators. I think we have a number of different generators throughout the town, and we want to make sure they keep operating properly, so we put out the preventative maintenance as well as the cost of doing repairs, the labor rates. I did make just a small modification to the reso because I'm as bad as Mr. Rossi with wordsmithing. And it just has to do with clarification on the third whereas, about what the $7,235.70 is for. Peak Power Systems was the low bidder of the 4 bids we got. They were low by a good margin. And they are the company that we have been using for the past 6 years, I believe. So, without objection, I'd ask that this resolution be entered into the minutes as read and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
In my executive session, which has to do with salaries and an incident at Veterans Park and union negotiations, I will defer to the end of the meeting. Mary, you're up.
Yeah, okay. The first item on my agenda is rec requests. Looks like Mr. Chabarro would like to partner with Nations Changers to provide advertising and registration assistance for their chess program as well as their SAT prep courses. In return, the town of Patterson will retain a portion of each registration. The classes will be held at Nations Changers, their facility, and will not require any staffing on our part. So it looks like we will be getting compensated, the town will be compensated $45 per registrant on a $599 5-week SAT course, $99 per registrant on a 8-week SAT course in the amount of $699, and $35 for each registrant on a 10-week course chess program at $300 per person. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the just formally stated fees that we'll be collecting. I mean, I think this is a good deal. All we're doing is collecting money for them, and they're running the program. It's not costing us anything. We're just helping them register their things. So moved.
You look concerned.
No, I would only suggest that we have something in writing with them, perhaps, just about the collection of the fees, similar to what was done with the gymnastics
I
program.
believe we do.
Okay.
I will send it down to you in the morning so you can take a look at it.
Perfect.
So we're all good? I'd like to make a motion to approve Nations Changers and Town of Patterson Rec Center to engage in this activity.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item from Matt is Fall Festival T-shirts. He put out a RFP for 36 fall T-shirts. It looks like Select Sportswear was the lowest bidder in the amount of $300. I was actually asking, do you know, Rich, do we get these T-shirts every year for the fall?
Yes, we generally do get shirts for the various activities they do down there.
Oh, okay. Is it for the staffing or is it for the people who attend?
No, I believe it's for the staff.
Oh, okay. All right, so obviously it would be different. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to approve 36 Fall Festival T-shirts in the amount of $300. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the second item is Jackson Beach lighting. It looks like Mr. Mays says we're in need of LED lights at Jackson Beach. I guess recently there was some vandalism, and the light, they're hoping will deter kids from damaging any more property at night. They have a price quote here from Healy Electric at the amount of $3,500 to install a 100 amp service on the existing private utility pole, and a few circuits and meters, some dedicated circuits, and also a manual switch and a photo cell. So I'd like to make a motion to approve $3,500 for Healy Electric to install the LED light at Jackson Beach. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Peter?
All right, first item I had, EMS requests. I have a request here from Denise Montana, our EMS supervisor. She would like to seek an approval for the lettering on the extrication jackets that were purchased already. They need to be lettered with Patterson EMS and Star of Life to kind of match the rest of our uniforms, so they can identify our personnel when they're at scenes. So she has a request here for $144 for Extreme Designs to do the embroidery. So I'd like to move that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I have a memo from Dennis Mays, Building and Maintenance. He's requesting $1,620 for trimming back and cleaning overgrowth branches at the wastewater treatment plant for landscape concepts. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of $1,620 for landscape concepts for trimming and cleaning around the wastewater treatment plant. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That is all I have.
It may not be. Charlie pointed out on the back.
Oh, it's a different request.
I thought she said we bought these already.
That's what I thought. She was probably just showing the,
That's what I thought.
yeah, I would hold on that, because it looks like this is just the supporting documents for the coats we bought.
I believe so, but it's funny the way she put it together.
Yeah, 'cause I asked her about that last night, 'cause
Okay.
I was
All right,
confused
good.
as well. She said it's just for the embroidery.
Yeah.
Okay, who's up? Charlie,
Me?
you're up.
First, we have a request from our building operations and maintenance guru, Dennis Mays, relative to Patterson Hamlet wastewater treatment plant. He received a quote from Landscape Concepts to trim back and clean the overgrowth of vines, branches, and so forth that have
yeah.
taken over the outer fence around the Patterson Hamlet wastewater treatment
Yeah, I
plant.
just did that.
Hey, Charlie.
Well,
Pete did that while you were asking Rich the question.
You got the compressor on the wastewater
You're
treatment.
off one on that.
Oh.
That approval, that was already approved.
all right. What are you trying to do to me?
What am I trying to do to you?
No, you have it in front of you, the next one. It's,
I'm sorry.
that's okay, it's a compressor replacement.
Yes. Again, Dennis Mays, he reached out to Atlas Copco. We received a quote for a new compressor, total cost of $5,470. So I will make a motion that the town board approve this expenditure of $5,470 for a new compressor at the wastewater treatment plant. So moved.
Second.
For discussion, I'd just like to add that this is a proprietary piece of equipment at the wastewater treatment plant, which is why it's a sole source bid.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next we have a subject of waiver of fees. We have reached out to our council, because we had some questions about are we doing the right thing in waiving fees as they come to us. And our legal advisors have come back to us and quoted the New York State Constitution relative to what is commonly referred to as gifts and loans clause, that provides no county, city, state, no county, city, town, village, or school district shall give a loan, any money, property to, or in aid of any individual or private corporation or association, private undertaking. And then there's another comptroller's office opinion that backs that up. Actually, two of them, going way back to 1955 and 1960. So I guess for discussion purposes, we're faced with, is there any exceptions to this?
If it's specifically accepted by statute, for example, later on in the agenda, you have an issue coming up with waiver of marriage fees, where that's a specific statutory exception where the town can issue a waiver of fees for armed force veterans. So there are, there's very few and far between, but there are, if it's waived specifically if the town has authority to do so by statute, but most waivers that I think may have happened in the past probably didn't fall into that. For example, building permits, there's not an exception for not-for-profits or things of that nature where you have the authority to waive them without coming up on this provision and potentially having an issue with this
Well,
constitutional
when you say
provision.
not-for-profits, also individuals don't.
Like hardships, when they come to us with hardships.
No. So really, the fees should be charged the same to each individual. Otherwise, you're going to come up onto you could come up into a situation where someone claims that you're giving a benefit to one person over another.
Do we have the option, Jamie, relative to granting payment schedule?
I don't think that there's a provision that prevents that necessarily, but the one thing you have to consider, I would consider in a payment schedule, is if you're not getting everything up front and you're issuing a permit, what are you going to do if,
What's the recourse?
What's your recourse if the person doesn't continue to pay? Or if you're doing a payment schedule and you're not going to give the permit until after you receive the full amount, the individual could just be saving up on their own without the town taking a payment schedule.
Okay.
So would reducing it be the same as,
Potentially, yes, yeah. Having different fees for different people.
So what if we were to get a request from an entity for an activity that we find, and we very clearly articulate why we find it is a public benefit that we're waiving the fee?
The issue becomes, is it just an incidental benefit to the entity, or is it a direct benefit to the entity? That's when it becomes an issue of whether or not it's a gift.
Let's use the example of someone who wants to hold a free public event at our rec center that is to the benefit of the entire community who chooses to use it.
I think you'd have a better argument there if anyone were to challenge it in the future. And that also comes to if anyone were to challenge it,
Yeah.
Obviously, you always want to be the most cautious that you can be in these situations.
But I think if we were going to err, I would feel comfortable doing it in that situation, clearly articulating. And I used that example only because it came to mind. We had an announcement on one of the events coming up that is that could very easily be a event that is charged for admission, but it's not. If they had to pay a permit fee, they may charge $2 whatever it is. In this case, it's an event that's free to the community, and we're waiving a nominal fee for use of the facility. I think that's been something that can be shown to be a public, something good for our community.
Yes.
But I understand the situation with building permit fees. That is an individual who is saying for some reason or another they either want reduction in fee or no fee at all, and I think this speaks to that.
Right, I agree.
Or an entity. And of course, the entity might be benefiting the public at large, but the building permit and that fee is specific really to them. So you start waiving for one, and then you could have every business in the area saying how they're benefiting the public by having that business.
Yeah.
So it becomes a slippery slope.
So the town board creates the fee schedule.
Yes.
We set the fees.
Yes.
Could we build into that fee schedule exceptions?
I think it gets dangerous if you start building in exceptions. I think it gets risky, of course, when you start building in too many, because they're treating different individuals or entities differently. And I can see why you would want to in certain.
Dangerous is not a no.
Right.
I'd want to take a look a little further into it before giving a definitive answer, but in my head, it would spark a lot of red flags.
Well, I think there are clear cases where somebody is doing something that is to the benefit of the community on a whole. That really we should be working with them, and not charging them fees. But I know a number of years ago, the town board tried to adopt a policy to do just that. I don't know that I felt that policy went far enough or was clear enough in all cases. But we may want to try to revisit that, take a look at it.
Yeah, and I believe we had maybe discussed it a little bit even about the rec center and the fees for the rec center in the past, and it was a concern about, you know, giving discounts and giving breaks, and it could be viewed as a violation of this constitutional provision. And at that point, it becomes a question too of whether there's any entities out there who would assist those individuals in another way so that the town wouldn't have to get involved in those kind of, you know, those kind of situations. So whether or not there's organizations out there that could help them so that the town doesn't have to start getting on that slippery slope.
Okay. Last meeting, we received a request from Director of Code Enforcement,
We did.
and obviously, we can't waive the fees.
Would you like to make a motion to deny the request?
I make a motion to deny the request.
Does everybody know what he's referring to?
Yeah, this is the issue we tabled last time that has the
Right.
fees that have gone on for years and years.
Yes.
It's quite a significant amount.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any other discussion on the matter? All right, Sean.
All right, thank you. First item we have is a request for our senior, Putt Lake seniors, a trip request for a Christmas party. The date of the trip is before Christmas, so that's good. December 11th, and it is for a party at Southeast Grill House with a DJ. The amount, the net amount being requested is $1,750. I'll move that we approve this request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item, council actually just mentioned before, we have from our town clerk a letter which advises the board that the governor recently passed law back in August that at a state level waives the state fee on marriage license for active duty members of the armed forces. As council suggested, this is something that is clearly different. They have also allowed that towns that would like to do this are able to do so. So at the request of Antoinette Kopek, our Patterson town clerk, she has requested that we consider waiving the marriage license. The state fee is $22.50 and the town fee is $17.50. And so we have a resolution which would waive that fee for active members of the armed force. So I'd like to introduce the resolution as though it were read into the record. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great timing on this, too.
Antoinette, thank you for that, for the timing.
Thank you.
Veterans Day coming up, and it's perfect.
And then I would like to ask the board to add 3 non-bid procurement forms to my agenda, please.
Second.
First item, and this all relates.
I didn't call a vote.
You did? Well, a lot of times you move it without calling a vote, so I didn't know. I assumed you just wanted to move forward.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I might be opposed, though. You never know.
Well, you know, I was thinking about it because we're right there at other business, then you could just bring it up.
That's true. So the 3 request forms that I'm about to talk about all relate to the Patterson Environmental Park Boardwalk project that we've been talking about over the last year, really, and starting to accumulate the supplies and the equipment necessary to begin this project over the next 3 to 4 weeks. The first item is a request to purchase pressure-treated lumber and multi-purpose screws. To begin the project, the 3 quotes were requested, and H.G. Page & Sons, right up the road here from the town hall, was the low bidder. This is getting 200 pieces of lumber and a whole bunch of screws. The low bidder amount was for the amount of $3,101.52. So including some allowance for delivery, make a motion we approve H.G. Page & Sons for those items for an amount not to exceed $3,200. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. The next is for buying some Schedule 40 galvanized pipe for the support structure for the boardwalk. The low bidder on this is Campanella Fence out of Mayapack, and that's for an amount including shipping of $614.91. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And last, this is a proprietary sourced item. This is different hardware It's brackets, foot pads, and safety caps related to the installation of the boardwalk. This is through Tommy Docks, and various items. The amount is $2,934. Shipping has yet to be determined, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve $3,100 to Tommy Docks for the various items contained in the non-bid procurement form. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I'd like to also add that we anticipate $6,000 in funding through the Putnam County Soil and Water Board and Lori Taylor towards this project. We also have a small amount of money in our environmental
Parks.
budget from this year under the watchful eyes of Rick Ciricelli, and so we're excited about moving forward with this project. Thank you.
Other business. Any board member have any other business they wish to bring up at this time?
I'll do one. All right, so we have an announcement for Saturday, November 2nd from 2 to 4 p.m. right here at Brook Farm Veterinary Center. The health department's hosting their yearly, they do 3 a year, but yearly in Patterson, rabies clinic, rabies vaccination clinic. You can find more information on the Putnam County website, but you can bring your pets, dogs, cats, and ferrets to the free rabies clinic. The only requirement is, other than the fact that if it's a dog that's on a leash, is that you bring proof of prior vaccination to this event. So, I guess I'll do this for Paul. Great, thank you.
That's all I have.
Oh.
All right, I'd like to make an announcement. The Garbage District Number 1, which is Putnam Lake, is having their annual bulk pickup. It's on Saturday, October 26th. Please have your bulk items curbside by 6 a.m., Saturday, October 26th. Your bulk items should be no more than 3 cubic yards. Small items should be boxed, bundled, or bagged. If you're not sure, the following items are not accepted: e-waste, which TVs, monitors, computers, printers, fax machines, pretty much anything with a cord. Tires and batteries, okay, they can be brought to the Patterson Recycle Center, 271 Cornwall Hill Road. And construction debris is prohibited too. So if you would have to contact the private carter for that. The special bulk pickup form is available at Town Hall or at our website. If you're not sure, if you are in Park District Number 1, you can call the sanitation department. Okay, I can't read the number out here, but it's on our website. Call Town Hall. And it's kind of fuzzy, but we'll hold this up. This flyer's on our website as well.
Sure.
Okay, and lastly, we have an announcement for the yearly military and knife collector show at the Patterson Rec Center. This is scheduled for October 19th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It is sponsored and hosted by our friends over at the Duffel Bag in Patterson. Admission is $5, children under 12 free with an adult. And one more advertisement.
Hold it up above the flags.
There you go. See, I can't see anything good. Got it. Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Public recognition. Any member of the public have anything they wish to bring up at this time? Hold them down.
Hold them down.
Like to make a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.